But we're going to start with the backlash in this country over American President Joe Biden's cancellation of Keystone XL. Prime Minister Trudeau is expected to be talking about it right about now in his call with Joe Biden. Several premiers, though, want more than just talk. They want action. And they made that clear last night in their own call with Trudeau.
So I had a conversation today with an executive from a large and local oil and gas company, and he doesn't see any benefit to this action, especially for a country looking to rebound its economy from a pandemic. Here's a breakdown of possible effects from this executive's perspective. Within hours of sitting at his new desk in the White House, President Joe Biden took restrictive action on the nation's oil and gas industry with his first executive order.
It didn't take him very long to throw a wrench in the works.
One of the first measures was to revoke a key cross-border permit on the Keystone XL project, all but forcing the project to cease operation. The Keystone project was set to build a pipeline from Alberta, Canada, to the Gulf Coast of Texas.
Well, the real concerning thing here is not just my constituents, right? Oil and gas production creates 40 to 45% directly of the state budget.
Money that goes towards New Mexico's roads and schools.
We completely shut down oil and gas for 60 days. That means we're not going to have the revenue that pays for teachers' salaries, for our buildings, and we'll basically give up 45% of our budget for educating our children.
It's really bad for oil and gas business, bad for the country. You know, we're energy independent now, and it just means that we're going to probably make less oil and gas, and we're going to have to import more, probably from the Middle East.
This is Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, and he joins us from Saskatoon. Welcome back to the program, Premier.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us.
Well, we're happy to have you. I want to know, what is it that you hope that the Prime Minister is saying right now to change Joe Biden's mind?
Well, I hope he's advocating ambitiously on behalf of the merits of this pipeline, this piece of infrastructure, and its investors and all Canadians. This is not an Alberta challenge. This is a Canada-U.S. challenge. That this is the permits for this pipeline have been retroactively removed. It is a challenge for our North American energy security. It will reduce the jobs on both sides of the border, and ultimately, I would say, is a step backwards on the environmental conversation as well. When you look at the merits of this being a net zero pipeline and some of the energy that is going into it.
Oh my gosh, so much happening in the world of politics. Alberta's premier is threatening legal action against the U.S. after reports emerge President-elect Joe Biden is planning to scrap the Keystone XL project immediately.
We believe that we would have very strong arguments for legal recourse for damages incurred.
And then, of course, yesterday, on his first day in office, Biden signed an executive order revoking permits signed over the past 4 years that do not serve U.S. national interest. So he shut it down. And guys, this is an absolute disaster. What president comes into office and on day one signs an executive order that would eliminate thousands of jobs? Hold on, they gave us an estimate of how many jobs. Approximately 42,100 jobs would be axed from this executive order. It's unbelievable.
Well, Neil, I would say that it's safer by pipeline, and I think that's what you're kind of alluding to here. Why would you want to transport that, go back to above ground transportation, whether it's rail car, whether it's truck? Those trains, those trucks are gas guzzling. They contribute to the emissions problem, and the polluted air, the climate, which is, I think that's what doesn't make sense to me, Neil.
It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but you're absolutely right about that. There's been articles written about the amount of traffic on these rails that are bringing this oil in. It's a huge safety concern. You've got a long black train with a cloud of smoke coming out of it versus a pipeline underground that you never see. Like I said yesterday in an interview, it's common sense, and some people don't seem to have common sense these days.
That's going to make the price of gasoline go up at the pump, and your electricity bill's going up, your gas bill's going up, and it's not good for the average American.
Now, again, this order doesn't restrict any current oil and gas permits already in place on federal and state lands for the next 60 days. But was this a warning shot of more restrictive action to come? Well, we'll have to wait and see.